Ruby Bridges, welcome to the Daily Social Distancing Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's truly an honor to have you because you are one of those people who doesn't seem real in life. You started your life as a young black girl in a place where black children could not go to a school that had white kids in it. And you talk about this in your new book, which is really, really beautiful and enlightening. But what was it like being a child in a school where white teachers didn't want to teach you, white students didn't want to be with you, white parents didn't want you in the school, and yet a white teacher was the one you talk about so affectionately who came in and said, I'm going to teach Ruby Bridges everything she needs to learn in the school and deserves to learn in the school?
Being 6 years old, I had no idea what to expect. The only thing my parents tried to tell me is, Ruby, you're going to go to a new school and you better behave. And that was really the extent of preparing me for what I saw. But living in New Orleans, I was accustomed to Mardi Gras, and they were screaming and throwing things and waving their hands. And that's what happens at Mardi Gras. So, what really protected me was the innocence of a child. I really didn't understand what was happening until I got into the school, and months into it, finally, was able to connect with some students that were being hidden from me.
Right.
And a little boy said, I can't play with you. My mom said not to play with you because you're a nigger. And so I started thinking even right then that, well, if my mom said, hey, don't play with him because he's Asian, he's Indian, he's mixed race, he's gay, he's, white, I would not have played with him. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, he was explaining to me why he couldn't play with me. So he did hurt my feelings, but I was never angry with him. And the fact that every day the person that greeted me was a white woman who looked exactly like the crowd outside. I came to realize that she looked like them, but she wasn't like them. Right. She showed me her heart. She made school fun. I loved being at school. I knew that if I just got out of the car, past the crowd, and inside of my classroom, I was going to have a great day. And so really, because of her showing me her heart, I knew that I couldn't judge her the same way as the people outside. So I always tell people that the lesson she really taught me was that there's absolutely no way you can look at a person and judge them by the color of their skin. She taught me the lesson that Dr. King tried to teach all of us. Right. That you have to judge a person by the content of their character. So that was the most important lesson that I took away. And I wanted to dedicate myself to trying to explain that to kids so that they know that racism has no place in their hearts and in their minds. And Trevor, if we're going to get past our racial differences, it's going to come from our kids.
It really does seem like America needs that more than ever, especially right now. America is more divided than in some ways it's ever been in the modern era. It feels like there is no end to that despite the election ending. Why did you choose to release the book now? What are you hoping to achieve?
I saw exactly what everybody else saw. Someone being murdered right before our very eyes. And it made me think about the kids that I've been speaking to for the last 25 years, trying to convince them that we need to come together, that racism doesn't have a place. And yet this was happening. And I felt like, in a sense, I'd let them down. Maybe I led them down the wrong path because look what's happening. And I felt like I needed to be able to talk with them because they're probably sitting there thinking, well, this isn't what Ruby has been saying to us. And so I have some very good people, that are very close to me. And I spoke to them about it. And they said, why don't you write a letter to them? And that's actually what this book is. It is my letter to young people. The young people that I saw, take to the streets to let them know that what I saw, what I witnessed was the exact same behavior that I saw when I was 6 back in 1960 during the civil rights movement. But, we went through that. We had to go through that. And it brought us to where we are today. And that now it was their turn, that they need not be afraid, that it is growing pains. And I do believe that if they come together, because the past 60 years brought us together.
Right.
You know, we were able to be in school together. We play sports together. We enjoy the same music. It brought us together. Not as close as we need to be, but it's on them now to pick up the torch, to carry it, and to continue to do what they do to move this country forward. And so that's what this book is about.
When you look at the state of schooling today in America, you know, the legacy of segregation lives on, although it's not officially mandated by the state. What do you think needs to be done to try and create a system in America where schooling is equal and kids are able to interact with each other in these environments where they should meet with each other before they become full-blown adults and then meet their first person of color or white person for the first time?
The very school that I integrated, school that we're talking about, you know, it was hit by Hurricane Katrina and then restored. It's a $30 million school in an inner city neighborhood. I fought very, very hard to restore that school. I wanted it to be an integrated school. Mm-hmm. It is segregated. It is all Black. It totally goes against my work and what I believe in. I was told that, you know, policies that we can't choose kids by race and put them in a school. In other words, we can't integrate a school. And I looked at them and I said, are you talking to me? You're telling me that you can't integrate a school? Yes, you can. I did it. And we can do it again. But we have to want that. We have to understand how important that is for us to move this country forward. And so we have to, if they don't know how to do it, then go back to 1960. Pick up the rule book, you know, look at it and figure it out. But we need to do it again.
Ruby Bridges, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And thank you for an amazing book that is truly powerful in so many different ways.
Thank you. I'll make sure I'll send you a copy.
Thank you very much.